Good afternoon, everybody. Mark Finan here in the Home Weather Office. This is your 5 p.m. update on what is now Tropical Storm Hilary. So the storm falling apart, but it is now over California. The center is a tropical storm, so it's official for the first time since 1939. We do have a tropical storm over California. But I'll explain some of the nuances of that. It gets a little tricky sometimes, but we'll go with what is official, and that is from the National Hurricane Center. And as you can see, here is where the center of the storm is at 5 p.m. It is accelerating to the north. Right now we have sustained winds around the center at 50 miles an hour, and it is moving to the north at 23 miles an hour. On that track, by 11 o'clock tonight, it'll be getting close to Death Valley, and by 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, a tropical depression getting ready to go into Idaho. So the National Hurricane Center has done a very good job with the track of this. This isn't all that far from what they've been tracking over the last 4 or 5 days. It might be a little bit farther to the east, but that's a subtle change. The thing that I find interesting here is that they say maximum sustained winds are 50 miles an hour. And that's the thing I always have trouble with, and I don't ever quite understand. So let's go ahead and take a look at the actual wind speeds we have over Southern California right now. For this, I'm using MesoWest. I'm zooming in too much. Come on. Back out. What I'm trying to point out here is that when they say we have sustained winds of 50 miles an hour, I never find the sustained winds that they say. These are sustained winds, 16 miles an hour, 13 miles an hour. Over towards San Diego, winds are 13, 18 miles an hour. It's certainly breezy, and especially on some of the mountaintops. But you're not seeing sustained winds of 50 miles an hour anywhere here. This location, which is a portable site, is reporting winds at 24, gusting to 43. But let's go to the Los Angeles basin, and you'll see the winds are 10 miles an hour or less. So yeah, you're not seeing sustained winds of 50 miles an hour anywhere. So, and you find this every time that there is a hurricane that makes landfall, a tropical storm, whatever it might be. They'll talk about what the sustained winds are, but you'll have a tough time finding a surface report with those winds. Palm Springs right now, yeah, it's rather windy. Wind out of the southeast at 31, gusting to 43. But it's another good example of yes, it's windy in Palm Springs, but it's not at 50 miles an hour. And at a place called Whitewater, a gust of 63. That's plenty enough. And look at that temperature of 70, a dew point of 70. So that just kind of shows you the tropical air that is in the area. So let's take a look and see how it looks on radar. We do have, it's a rather broad circulation in here. You're not really seeing a tight spiral in here, but the center is somewhere in here in eastern San Diego County, basically. Getting some pretty good rain. Let me switch locations. Let's go over to Yuma. Well, that is Yuma. Let's go over to San Diego, and let's go up here to the north. As I mentioned earlier, the Southern California radars are very compromised by the terrain, so it's tough to get from a single radar a good picture of exactly what's going on. But I do like single radars. This is a good radar here out of around Edwards. Let's put this into motion. And you'll see that steady motion out of the southeast. So yeah, there's, and especially for Southern California, this is impressive rain. Let's go a little bit farther to the north, see how this is doing. Let's go to the Hanford radar. Hanford radar is showing the rain kind of thins out as you go up here toward Yosemite. And then let's go up to the Davis radar, not too far from Sacramento. And the Davis radar is showing more or less the same thing. Let's check the Reno radar. We'll see what Reno's picking up. Same sort of thing. So we do have some light rain that's likely headed toward the Tahoe area later on tonight. I'll wait just a second for this to go into animation. Some of this over here is likely not reaching the ground. There may be some light rain in Tuolumne County, but that would probably increase tonight. The areas highlighted in yellow here are some pretty good rain heading toward the Hawthorne area along Highway 95 here. And then around 395, Mono County is also getting some pretty good rain. show you how this looks on the satellite. Rather interesting view this afternoon. I'll just reload this because we do have that. That it's tough to pick out the circulation here on the satellite. So I'm going to let that reload, and let's go over to some of the rainfall totals. So I'm going to show you 48-hour rainfall totals, and I'm going to point out. Let's go up toward the Palm Springs area, see how we're doing. So Palm Springs, 2 inches of rain, but if you go up here, this is what location? Yeah, Mount San Jacinto, 6.41 over the last 48 hours. North Indio, almost 2 inches of rain. Let's go into San Diego area. There's some spots here and there that have a little more than an inch. Point Loma has 3/4 of an inch. So these rains aren't too bad. But yeah, there are a lot of spots here in the mountains. When you see these blue highlights, these are 1 to 2 inches of rain, as you can see on the highlights here, on the scale down in here. The green is less than an inch of rain. And so this is the LA area. That's the spot that has 4. The Leona Valley has 4.5 inches of rain. Over here toward Palmdale, they also have 4.25 inches of rain. All right, let's see if the satellite has loaded up. Yep, here we go. So on the satellite, you can see that it's very tough to find any circulation in here. So, that's why I said, well, technically we'll say we'll go with the National Hurricane Center, because they are the arbiter of all these things. But if they say there's 50-mile-an-hour winds here, the circulation, we'll take their word for it. Also notice here, there is a very well-defined edge to where the clouds are. And I was talking with our other meteorologists over the last couple of days about trying to forecast temperatures for today. And at 3 o'clock this afternoon, Sacramento was 87, but Fairfield was 100 degrees. So a really tough forecast today for max temps in our area. As we go through the night, these clouds will stick around throughout the Central Valley. It'll continue to feel very humid, and same thing in the foothills. We'll likely see some light rain get into the foothills overnight and early tomorrow morning. But with the center of this thing racing to the north, and it'll be up here by tomorrow at noontime, we will see rapid clearing. So for those in Tuolumne County, your best chance of rain is going to be through the night tonight. But it looks like it's going to be more the steady rain as opposed to the thunderstorms we had last night. At least that's the way it looks right now. And then after this clears, we will start to see the humidity come down. But tonight, you can expect it to stay very humid. So I haven't seen much in terms of flooding. I haven't seen much in the way of flooding reports. I've seen some reports of street flooding here and there, but I imagine those will be coming in as we go through the rest of the afternoon and the evening. But that's your update on Hilary. Continuing to weaken, now moved inland, racing to the north. Some areas will see some pretty good rain tonight. But for Southern California and the deserts that we've been most concerned about, that rain will last maybe another 6 to 8 hours. And then by the time we get into the day tomorrow, we'll see rapid clearing and rapid drying, and we'll just see how bad the damage is and how much, just how much damage there might be and what sort of flooding there might be. So for those of you that have been watching from Southern California, hang on. The worst is just about past your area. Give it another 6 to 8 hours, and this storm will be past your area. So that's everything I've got for you this evening. That's your 5 p.m. update on Tropical Storm Hilary. The next weather update from this channel will be coming tomorrow morning. I'll talk to you later.